Welcome back. Did you know that May is also Celiac Disease Awareness Month? Well, joining me in the studio to help spread awareness is Mike and Rachel Krupski. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so you guys have your own business called Celiac, kind of playing on the, the name of the disease. And so why don't you start off by telling us about your business first?
Yeah, of course. So the Celiac is a business that we just started this year officially, actually.
Nice.
And it is a 100% gluten-free stand that will be available actually at the Erie County Fair this year. But it was born out of the need to provide really gluten-free food for individuals that otherwise wouldn't be able to eat at fairs or festivals where so many of the dishes that are there have gluten in them. So we're coming to provide this experience to the community, and we're really excited about it.
Well, why don't you also start off by telling our viewers what celiac disease is and how it affects people?
Yeah, so celiac disease is a genetic autoimmune disorder. So it gets categorized as an allergy a lot because it kind of the treatment for it is a gluten-free diet, and when things revolve around food like that, you kind of group it into an allergy, but it actually reacts different in your body. So basically, anytime gluten comes into contact with my body, it assumes that it's an enemy and goes into attack mode. It ends up attacking kind of your own GI tract, unfortunately. And the crazy thing about it is that, it could be the smallest amount of gluten, that you don't even see. So it could be the same physical experience if I eat a donut or if his sandwich accidentally touched mine because it was next to me, would be just as harmful. So it affects people, in a variety of ways. The physical symptoms could be really severe, where it's like up to 3 weeks, and then some people don't experience any physical symptoms, which is even more scary because you're not sure if you're getting, contaminated or not.
Now, do both of you have it or just you?
No, just Rachel.
Just
so
me,
she was diagnosed in 2021.
Yeah.
And we have since then adopted a largely gluten-free lifestyle. So we keep our home completely gluten-free.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, once in a while when she's at work and I have a day off, I'll get a slice of pizza. But otherwise, we largely follow the gluten-free diet just for, again, her safety as well.
The awareness of this has taken off. I actually had never heard of celiac disease until I was in college, and two of my teammates on my dance team, they were sisters, and both of them had it. And I didn't realize how much food had gluten in it. I just felt so bad for them every time we went out or were ordering in. There was so much that they couldn't eat. So having something like this, especially for a day like the Erie County, days of the Erie County Fair, having a place for so many people that are affected by it, right?
It is. It's really prevalent. About 1% of America actually has celiac disease that is known, but actually about 80% of people who might have it are actually undiagnosed. So they're actually not sure that they have it. They might have been diagnosed with something else. And then there's also those with gluten sensitivities.
Right.
And about 6% of America has that. So that's 7% of America, or the population going to a fair that couldn't eat.
Absolutely. Now tell me about some of these things that you brought in today, and this is stuff that we'll be able to try and see at the fair, right?
Yes, this is just a little bit of what we're going to have at the Erie County Fair. So when we were thinking about what food that we should have, I kind of went back to the things I miss the most, and then we wanted to make sure that we hit on everything like breakfast, a staple item that would be filling, desserts and snacks, because we're probably the only stand a lot of people are going to be able to eat at. So for breakfast, we're going to have a breakfast corn dog, a brekkie dog, which is going to be a breakfast sausage deep fried in pancake batter. We'll have our corn dogs, some loaded corn dogs, our deep fried Oreos, and funnel cakes for dessert.
Okay, the dessert is where it's at. That's what I'm excited about. Now, can someone that doesn't have an allergy or doesn't have celiac disease enjoy your food as well?
Yeah, so I would say, I'm a great example of someone that doesn't have a gluten allergy. And our goal when we were creating this business and really working through the food was not to make food that tasted good for being gluten-free, but just food that tasted good.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to get those recipes dialed in just right. So actually a lot of our taste testers that we have for this business, our friends and our neighbors, are all people that eat gluten every day, right? They're a normal or follow a normal diet. And this is something that they really can't tell the difference. So we've heard not just from gluten-free people, but from people that eat gluten all the time that they can't tell the difference between them. And that was our goal when we were creating this.
Is it difficult when you're kind of creating these concoctions to make it taste as real as possible? I get the vibe it's kind of like vegan food, right? There's all this
yeah, it's interesting.
alternatives, but they're Does it actually taste like it?
Yeah, so what's interesting about it is when we think about baking traditionally, you have flour, and it's such a staple ingredient. You just use flour, and you grab it for everything. And obviously, that's what we can't use because that's the main component is gluten and flour. So it's just kind of game of trying to figure out like what substitutes work, as you mentioned. And when it comes to the gluten-free world, there are just a lot of different flours that you can use. So there's white rice flour, there's tapioca starch, there's potato starch, there's all these different things. And I think every celiac and gluten-free baker will tell you that they have their favorite mix of blends of flours. And we actually found that different ones work better for different things. So almost all of our recipes use a different blend of some kind of flours that we've put together to, again, just make it as close to the real thing as possible and mimic that as much as we can.
Very cool. Thank you guys for seeing something. You know, this is something that affects you personally. You found a void and you fixed it, and you also spread it with others. So thanks so much for what you're doing. For more, you can head over to their website at theceliac.com or find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the Celiac LLC. Thanks again for coming in, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.